Hey, it's Dizzy. If you've watched my videos for any length of time, you know that I have a horse and she colicked earlier in the month. That was an almost $400 vet bill. And then Callie had her normal yearly checkup and heartworm pills and the Bravecto she gets for fleas and ticks. That was over a $400 vet bill, and I thought I was done with big expenses for the month. Well, I wasn't. My son had vacation time, so he came up from Florida to New Jersey to see me, see his friends, yada, yada, yada. Plus, it was his birthday, and I took him to his birthday and, knew that that wasn't going to be overly expensive. But one thing he decided that he was going to do while he was up here was he was going to help Mom with firewood. It's getting cold out. I didn't really have anything. And he found a dead tree in the woods that, even though I had a battery-operated chainsaw, he was sure he could take it down. Well, he did. And he didn't have it land quite right. So then he was working on cutting it so that it would snap and he'd be able to cut it up more. Well, my chainsaw started smoking, so he stopped, and we just thought that he was overusing it. And that was it for him for the day. It was getting dark out, so he left, and I started working with my electric chainsaw to get wood cut for the night because I didn't really have anything. I had a 16-inch Homelite chainsaw that had belonged to my father. It burned up on me while I was using it. I was not happy. So, you see, what day was it that happened? That was on Friday. I'm trying to remember what day if it was Thursday or Friday that he came over. But Friday is when the chainsaw burned up on me. So, he and I were going out to dinner that night. So, I like the Homelite chainsaw. I got on Home Depot site, which is the only place I know that sells the Homelite chainsaws around here. I couldn't figure out how to get the dumb thing to order. They send you a stupid code so you can order it, but of course you got to go out of your order to get the code, and then you go back in, and then it wouldn't take the code. You had to, and after the third time I said, forget that, and I called the store, and they got it all ready for me, and told me I could pick it up. Okay, it was on Thursday because I knew I wasn't going to be able to get to the store until Friday. So, what was I saying? So that was that, and I got out my battery-operated chainsaw, and it seemed to be working fine, and I finished cutting up the wood that I needed. Well, the next day, my son was going to borrow a gas chainsaw from a friend of his and finished cutting up that tree. The chainsaw wouldn't start, so he came back home, got the batteries from my battery-operated one, and started working on cutting it down. Burned up the battery-operated one. So he went and he bought me a new chainsaw. Now this one is bigger. It's heavier. I haven't used it yet. I did have it with me because I was supposed to be helping a friend. But he said Merry Christmas when he gave it to me. So that was replaced. Picked up my new electric one, which I like. Saturday morning is when he left. He stopped at the house Saturday the 22nd. He stopped at the house to pick something up, and it was a desk that had belonged to his great-grandfather. It was all taken apart, and after he leaves, I realized that there were 3 small pieces that we didn't grab, so I went to call him, and my phone wouldn't work. I decided it didn't like the internet. I tried turning it off and turning it back on. It didn't work. I did that a few times, nothing happened. So then I just turned it off, and without starting it. I know by then it was too late to do anything about getting him, because I had just been going to have him pull over, and I would meet up with him and give him the parts. But of course, that couldn't happen. And when I fed all of the horses, it's like the phone would not charge and it would not connect to the internet. So I went to the phone store and they hooked it all up. They were able to get it to charge, and lo and behold, there was a problem with the phone. Now, I don't know what happened to it, but I did have insurance on the phone, but for some reason, over a year ago, the insurance stopped. So that meant instead of having my phone that I've been using for a while now, I had to get a new phone. And I have a Verizon credit card, so I had cash on it for cash back, which I always save for that sort of thing, so that they were able to use that towards part of the purchase price. But of course now I'm paying for it for next couple of years. And not only did I get the phone, but I also had the option at this nice little watch. They had told me when they were telling me about the watch, I asked them about using it with a Bluetooth when I was out riding, so I didn't have to carry my phone with me. And he says, oh yeah, you can do that. Well, they're wrong. You can't. So, but even so, I'm liking having the watch. I'm finding that it does come in handy as long as I don't accidentally call people on it, which I've already done once. And then I went to try to connect my Bluetooth to it. Well, I couldn't get the Bluetooth to connect to it. They couldn't figure it out in the Verizon store. I couldn't figure it out. I went to Best Buy's, which is where I bought the Bluetooth years ago. They couldn't figure it out. So I ended up having to get earbuds. I haven't used them yet. Other thing that I had to get for the phone was a case. Well, I didn't have them in the Verizon store. So I had been I'd had problems with the phone. It had turned off on me. The one night when I was charging it, it was not even 48 hours after I got it. It was supposed to be doing an update overnight. Instead, it just shut off, and I could not start the phone in the next morning. It was not charging, so I had to go to a different Verizon store, and they were able to force start it, and it's working fine since then. But it's like, I needed to get a protective case to it for in case I dropped it. And they didn't have it in that Verizon store either, but I was in a mall at that point in time, so they said, there's a kiosk that sells cases. Well, they only had one that fit my phone, and it was $30. But it's like, you do what you have to do. So yeah, I'm having an expensive month this month. But I've now had 2 chainsaws that work well. The dog is all set for heartworm and fleas and ticks for the next year, and hopefully I don't have any more problems with my phone. And this is the first chance I've had to make a video. It's been kind of crazy around here, so I need to get back to doing wood, and I'll talk at you later.